Good evening. Our top story. After years of wrangling and controversy, the final route for the high-speed 2 rail line through Yorkshire has been announced.
Under the plans, there'll be no new stations in South Yorkshire, and homes on a brand new housing estate will be bulldozed to make way for the development. It means the earlier plan for a station at Meadowhall Shopping Centre has been scrapped.
So this is the route. It will run to the east of Sheffield, with some trains heading into Chesterfield and Sheffield city centre on existing lines. Now, it looks very different to this original proposal. That was when we saw it in 2013.
The first phase of the £56 billion scheme, a railway between London and the West Midlands, is due to open in 2026. The line through Yorkshire, though, won't be finished until 2033. Tom Ingle has been following developments. Tom.
Keely, when the developers began work here just about 5 years ago, they cannot have imagined that one day a large railway viaduct would cross the site and 16 homes would need to be demolished. Shimmer has become absolutely emblematic of what happens when you plan national major infrastructure projects. Somewhere, somebody's life is going to be absolutely torn upside down and shattered. Their dreams gone, their hopes of building lives here, well, it looks like some people at least are going to be moving on. High Speed 2 say by bringing the line this way they will save £1 billion on the Meadowhall proposal, but people who oppose this route, and there are plenty of them, including local councils, say, well, they're just not buying that. They'd waited all day for the announcement here, and then a small piece on the Department for Transport website told them the news they were expecting, along with letters on doormats. 4 p.m. on the Shimmer estate, the time not marked by the pips, but instead the rattle of letterboxes. This special delivery seals fates and futures. Stay or go, lives will turn on today's decision to bring HS2 this way. All day residents like Sue Douglas have waited for the news. They moved here 3 years ago and spent thousands of pounds making their house their home.
We've had a year in limbo. Both our healths have been affected by all this. And we don't feel anymore as though it's our home or our house. We're just sort of living somewhere until they decide how much money to give us so that we can go and buy somewhere else.
Now you've heard the news, is that your plan to go?
Oh yes, yeah, you couldn't possibly stay here. I mean, it's an unfinished estate, there's empty houses, no proper roads, no proper pavements.
It's a year since the BBC exclusively revealed a proposal was on the table to move HS2 in South Yorkshire. The Meadowhall route is now dead. In Sheffield, trains will arrive at the existing station. Meanwhile, the new option for the main line needs 16 houses to be demolished at Shimmer.
Well, I recognise that we need to work with the people on the Shimmer estate to make sure that they have as many choices as possible over how they're compensated, and that the compensation package works for them as well. It's quite a unique location on the HS2 network, so we need to work with the local people to get it just right.
We've called this meeting this evening because of obviously the thing that's actually...
But communities right along the new route are affected. Bramley, Mexborough, Barnborough. Information roadshows and packed public meetings last summer did little to allay concerns. Even Doncaster Council, a previous supporter of HS2, turned against the new proposals in the official consultation. Tonight, they haven't changed their minds.
Wrong for Doncaster, wrong for South Yorkshire City Region, and wrong for UK PLC. Totally the wrong decision. And it will cost more. Destroying homes, communities, slower trains, fewer trains, the economy not doing as well. It is just the wrong decision.
A year in limbo at Shimmer, and even now the wait is not over as people seek to agree compensation to stay or to sell their homes to the government. And for the rest of South Yorkshire, a difficult, divisive debate, parked for now. Recriminations are bound to reverberate. Some more details from the government document we can bring you tonight. Chesterfield will get a high-speed station, or at least high-speed services. That wasn't part of the original Meadowhall plan. Sheffield, as we know, gets its city centre station. There are no confirmed plans for a Parkway station, though, on the eastern main line through the rest of South Yorkshire. There is provision for something called the Northern Loop, so trains from Sheffield to Leeds might take as little as 30 minutes in the future. And at Crofton, a large rolling stock depot looks set to be relocated. But there is a lot of detail to get through before we can really really understand who is winning here, who is losing here, and who is going to have to wait a long time to find out what the impact will be on their lives.
Tom, thank you very much indeed for that. Well, Ed Miliband is the MP for Doncaster North, which of course includes the Shimmer estate, and the former Labour leader is with us now. Fact, Mr Miliband, you did support as Labour leader HS2, didn't you?
Yes, and I do support the principle of it, Harry, because I think it's important to connect up the country, both up and down the country and across the country. The problem with this route, as Ros Jones said, is not just that it's bad for my constituents, it destroys the Shimmer estate, that's terrible, but it doesn't serve Yorkshire properly. It's a poor man's high-speed train. It's basically slower trains, fewer trains, worse connectivity, worse for jobs, worse for regeneration. I think what's happened here is HS2 has dug themselves into a corner, so have the government, and they haven't found a way out. Just to give you one fact, the consultation on this route found 15 to 1. That's 15 people were against it for every one person that was in favour of it. And I'm afraid the consultation has been revealed as a sham.
Yeah, you were angry about that in the Commons this afternoon as well. I suppose some people might say you've changed your tune now because it's affecting the Shimmer estate. We've got pictures of you now that we're going to show of you visiting residents on the Shimmer estate. What can you do to help them?
Keep fighting for them. Look, I'm not giving up on this. I'm not giving up on this because I care about my constituents, but to be fair to my constituents, they haven't just been making the argument for themselves. They've been saying, look, if HS2 is going to happen, obviously there are mixed views on it, it's got to properly serve Yorkshire, and it's got to properly serve not just Sheffield city centre, and by the way, I don't think this is great for them either, but it's got to serve Rotherham and Barnsley and Doncaster and all of the towns across South Yorkshire and indeed Yorkshire. And that's the problem here. I don't think the government have properly lived up to the ambitions of HS2, which is to tackle the inequalities right across our region, not just locating all the economic development in one part of our region.
Forgive me for interrupting, Mr Miliband, but is there a real chance here of this actually opening in 2033 anyway? It seems such a long way off. It's already behind schedule. It might not happen at all, will it?
Goodness knows, Harry. Look, goodness knows. But I think if it's going to happen, it's got to happen in the right way. And it's got to happen in a way that actually tackles the long-standing north-south divide that we know exists in our country. And I'm not giving up. That's why I'm going to keep fighting for my constituents and for people across Yorkshire.
Mr Miliband, thank you very much indeed for joining us this evening.
Thank you.